Hey y'all, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Alyssa.
We're your Buttons babes, and this week we are pushing that family boundaries button. Like,
just in time for the holidays.
Right? Like, because it's one of those things where, like, how is it, like,
how are we at the holidays?
What?
How are we at the holidays?
No,
Same.
how do you, like, oh, yes. Or, no, how do you create boundaries with your family members? Because for me personally, it's much harder to set those lines with with my parents and my grandparents than it has been with, like, friends and relationships. Like, it's something that I'm learning all of the time. It's harder for me to say no to my mom or my dad, or be like, yo, like, no, this is what the fuck I'm doing. Please respect that, and, like, respect my boundary. Don't try and, you know, push your
agenda
on me. Like, and for a while, I'd be like, yeah, in one ear and out the other. Like, I was a teenager and be like, I hear you, yeah, I'm gonna do that, thanks, and then I was like, no, fuck that shit. Like, that's how I got away. Yeah, like, as a teenager, that's how I skated by, dealing with my parents sometimes, or my grandparents, when they think that they know what's best for me and what I need. But
when I was your age.
Right.
Love that line. Love that.
It's, I'm trying to think in terms of, because definitely have better conversations with my parents and my grandparents now, but
after you set the boundaries. In the midst of setting boundaries.
Yes.
As you are setting boundaries.
Just easier conversations, because I think one of our previous episodes we talked about being friends with our parents, and once you realize that your parents are just people as well, it becomes easier to have conversations with them. But still, I have a hard time telling them no, Blake, or mind your business.
Is it like out of respect? Is it out of fear? Is it out of just like it's easier to just
That's interesting, and now I feel like I'm in therapy. It's like,
writing this down.
Yes, it's a little, not so much out of fear, but like I think a little bit out of respect, because it's like, they're my parents.
Yeah.
They birthed me. But also, like, that need for them to be proud and to agree with them, and to be like, yeah, like, and to make sure that they feel listened to as well, and still a part of my life.
Yeah.
And so that, like, allowing them to have, like, some type of input, I guess. But then also on the flip side of that, there have been times where I'm like, my mom and I have reached a point in our relationship, like, we are, like, friends now, like, we are close. And so, and even in those times, I sometimes feel like I am being a ninja and, like, parenting my mom, like, and finding ways to be like, hey, we gotta grow here, and I'm trying to lead by example, but not, like, be that bitch to be like coming down.
You did not do this.
Right? And
yeah.
So it's in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, how am I doing this? But then how am I also protecting myself? Because sometimes I just ignore my family, and that's my boundary. That's
I think a fair boundary.
I love them from a distance, or it's like my whole family, and it drives me crazy. My whole family's like, oh, we don't bother you because you're busy. And I'm like, oh, I think I've done that to myself. Like, when I think about it, because I'm like, oh, I can't talk, I'm busy, or I can't do this, I'm busy, or they see what's going on in my life and they know that I'm busy. But an interesting boundary that I do have is with my grandmother, my mom's mom. Like, love her to pieces. Y'all all know, like, you have that grandma or that family member that likes to talk shit.
She's most that.
Yes, like, loves the drama, wants to be in everybody's business, like, just loves the toxicity of things, and, just chatty Cathy gossip, and just loves the negativity. It got to the point I was like, we're not doing this anymore. Like, you got 5 minutes to talk your shit, and then that's it. And then that's it.
Moving on.
Because you were sucking the energy out of my day, and I am drained sometimes when I get off the phone with her. And sometimes I can, shoot the shit with her and listen to her and let her do that. But I got to the point I was like, no, I don't I don't want that. I don't need that. This is not our problem. There's nothing we can do. Can you tell me something good that happened in your day today? Please. I'm like...
That's a nice segue, or at least way to kind of flip that switch on someone, on someone who's toxic. My family, I don't have to set as many boundaries. I almost have to like reverse whatever.
Okay.
We kind of cut out toxic family when I was growing up. So like we would see them and then disappear. So that was like a easy way that I unintentionally learned, like, you just don't have to see people if they're toxic. So like my parents kind of showed me that.
Okay.
But like, because of distance, like, people, my family, like, they interact, and sometimes we schedule like when we're conversing. So it's not like I have to like deflect calls or like, have those like, okay, you've got 5 minutes to do this, and then we're through. It's more of like, I have to kind of pursue, because they know not to bother me. Almost kind of like you said, sense. I'm busy.
Because there's also an element of it where it's like you create your own boundary with your family without them knowing.
Yeah,
like
that's like, we don't. So politics would be like a toxic conversation in my family. In the last handful of years, we've had some pretty wild fucking times. And yeah, the 45 caused an uproar at my house for Thanksgiving for quite a few years. So as the head sibling, I was like, we will not discuss politics.
Like,
if you cannot have a conversation without yelling, getting red in the face, swearing, or leaving the table. None of those things were possible. So we stopped discussing politics.
Nice.
I do shut down like the little bickering back and forth with my siblings, because I've always been able to say no to my parents. Like, if I don't want to do something, you have to be a magician sometimes to get me to fucking do what I don't want to do.
I see.
So I have always been I've not had a problem ever saying no to my parents when I'm like, I have a leg to stand on here. Like, at a certain age, when I realized Felix and Lori are Felix and Lori, not these like,
yes,
all exalting figures that I like was, had needed to be terrified for. Like, I respect them, but I also like not politely sometimes disagree.
Okay.
And I think maybe a boundary is that I call out things where I'm like, this is a dated thought. You need to understand that like that was maybe acceptable to say at this point in time. But now we know that like this is the way to say it. My parents have been really great about trying to learn and adapt with me and my siblings as we progress on things. They don't always agree, and sometimes yes, they do like make jokes about what is passionate or like important to me or my other siblings, and we have to have those conversations of like, hey, I felt this way when you said this, or like
those are so
using
important.
Words has become more of like how my family is learning, because we did not used to. We were the very like,
we can go talk about this.
Yep.
Like, we're gonna be passive aggressive.
Yes, Midwest passive aggressive. So like my anti-boundary has been learning how to use words instead of shutting the fuck up, because I have a hard time with that. But I'm also really great at it if I need to just stew and like laser beam you from across the room. And that is like holiday time is like prime, like, okay, there's booze involved. For a long time, one of my siblings was always made fun of for smoking weed. I am a habitual smoker of the ganja. And it was a very big, like, she got made fun of, but no one said anything about me. And then, like, one day she blew up, and she's the sensitive middle child. Shout out to the middle children out there. I don't know your plight. I'm glad I'm not one of you. And I was like, hey, guys, like, it's all fun and games, but, like, she doesn't do this anymore. She's clearly not happy about the jokes. And I was like, I fucking do this every day, so if we're going to talk about this,
it should be
let's really talk about it.
Right.
And like calling that kind of I don't know,
behavior out.
hypocrisy. Like I don't know what the word is right now.
It's a little
the
bit of,
calling the something black or the
yeah.
But like those, like that's what we're calling out more. The double stigma.
Double standard?
Standard. Yep. Fucking words, man.
Yeah, sometimes.
So like those are ways that maybe we like assert boundaries. Is just like instead of letting something go off too far to like hurt someone, trying to interject or like call it like, let's all remember this is not that serious.
Right. And setting like boundaries are different for different people. Like what you need to feel safe in your space, in your head, and to in a assertive way. Like this is who I am, what I want, like being able to say no to things, like it's different. There's the, love from a distance, or it's using words, or ignoring.
Using words, not using words. It depends on the day.
But in the grand scheme of things, like I have learned the most ideal thing, but also at times the most uncomfortable, is to have the conversation. But some families or some family members, it is damn near impossible to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of like, okay, is it going to be better for my mental health and the relationship for me to say some shit or to leave it alone?
Or do we wait for a future time?
Because the things like to this day, I can't say, I'm terrible at saying no to my mother. Like there's some silly shit there. I'm like, nah, ma. But like coming home, like it's always a thing. And I'm just like, ugh. Or I'll make up an excuse and be like, I can't, I have to work. Or but it's, my dad doesn't ever ask for much. Like he's that strong, stoic, silent type. And so like but I know like it would be hard to tell him no, but that is a rare occurrence. My hominy, that's a whole other, like, nope, you like what hominy says goes. Even to, I think the closest I have gotten to tell this woman no is like, no hominy, I don't want a second plate of food. I'm full. And
I mean, grandma's, yes, when LaVon was alive, there were a lot of things that we were just like, all right, so we do not tell the actual truth. We're telling this sugar-coated story because it will break her. And
yes.
And I mean, yeah, there are things that I'm like, if she knew, rest her soul, she would fucking roll over in her grave and have a heart attack.
Yep. And so, like, for the grandparents, like, for the most part, I'm like, yes, I'll put that smile on. I will fake it until I make it and leave that shit in Virginia and be like, whew, okay, I made it through. But God forbid I got to tell how many I'm full. Like, food is a love language for her, y'all.
Yeah.
Anywho, but okay. So please do tell us, like, how you have set certain boundaries with your family members. Like, is it possible? Is it not possible? We would love to hear like how you attack some of those things. So drop that comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you next week.
This is what they came for.
Bye.